Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. To begin with, I'd like to thank the organizers of this event, this Maha Kirtan festival in Birmingham. This is my first time here. I'm very impressed. There's so many devotees, and I've heard that this event has been going on for 25 years. Am I correct? Yes. Of course, it brings to mind my very dear friend Kadamba Kanana Maharaj, who made it a point to come here regularly and sing his Gandharva-like kirtans and speak his beautiful words of Krishna consciousness. We're missing him deeply. And of course, the news has spread around the International Society for Krishna Consciousness that one of the great stalwart devotees of this movement, a very, very dear and foremost disciple of Srila Prabhupada, His Divine Grace Gopal Krishna Maharaj, has left this world just a few hours ago to join Srila Prabhupada in his Nitya Leela, his eternal pastimes. So today is, it's really a day of mixed feelings, because our loss is another group of devotees' gain. So we're sad and they're in ecstasy. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inquired from Ramananda Roy, Dukha madhye kona dukhyahaya guru tara Krishna bhakti vira vina dukha nahi dekhi para. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked, of all kinds of distress, what is the most painful? Of all kinds of distress, what is the most painful? And Ramananda Roy replied, apart from separation from the devotee of Krishna, I know of no unbearable unhappiness. So that's our mood today. It's a mood of, a mixed mood of sorrow and joy. And actually the whole world should share that sorrow today. Of course they don't know, but I think history will be written in the years to come of devotees like Gopal Krishna Maharaj who dedicated their lives 100% to the mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But like this is the world of darkness, especially Kali Yuga. Darkness of ignorance. And every Vaishnava, especially a Vaishnava of the caliber of Gopal Krishna Maharaj, is like a bright light in the darkness of Kali Yuga. They are enlightened, and by their sangha, by their association, others become enlightened as well. Maybe they don't even know. Devotees are always speaking the glories of the Lord. That's their life and soul. They're always chanting Krishna's holy names. And those holy names are so powerful that even people like Jagai and Madhai, they become purified just by hearing the holy names. So when a devotee like that disappears, that light goes out, the world becomes a little more darker. But of course, Maharaj has left behind a most amazing legacy from the moment he met Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada marked him. Prabhupada marked him. One time Prabhupada said that the spiritual master has an entourage of very close disciples with whom he travels with birth after birth. The trusted ones. Many are called, but few are chosen. So I have no doubt that Gopal Krishna Maharaj is one of those disciples who, when there's some service required elsewhere, then they go. Prabhupada said of his own spiritual master that he came to this world to preach Krishna consciousness, and then he left to preach Krishna consciousness somewhere else. He reasons ill who says that Vaishnavas die when thou art living still and sound. A Vaishnav dies to live, and while living spreads the holy name around. A Vaishnav dies to live. So what is living for a devotee? Living for a devotee is not living to maintain this body or to enjoy the senses of this body, to enjoy material life. That's not living. That's like death. Living is preaching Krishna consciousness. Living is practicing Krishna consciousness. And living is spreading Krishna consciousness. So like father, like son. Like father, like son. Just as Srila Prabhupada came to this world, and he spread the Krishna conscious movement all over the world. He flooded the world with Krishna consciousness. And in his absence, his dear son, Gopal Krishna Maharaj, in his Prabhu Desh, every devotee has an area where they're serving. In his Prabhu Desh, particularly in India, you could say around the world, because Maharaj was a GBC man. He was part of the BBT, Bhaktivedanta Book Trust. So you go to his Prabhu Desh, you'll be amazed at what he did. Who would not be amazed? I was recently on tour in India, and when I came to Delhi, I'll go to the temple. And I said, I want to go to the temple. The devotee said, which one? Which one? There's something like, how many? There's 20 temples in Delhi. What is that? We say in America, above and beyond the call of duty. Above and beyond the call of duty. That's Gopal Krishna Maharaj. So we could speak for hours, but let us keep this wonderful devotee in mind. Let us hope that we meet again. We go to where our hearts take us. So if we cultivate our heart to develop love for Hari, Guru, and Vaishnava, in due course of time we'll all be united. Eloquence is truth spoken concisely. Prabhupada said that we will have our ISKCON in the spiritual world. And in a moment of intimacy, he said to my dear godbrother, I have so many dear godbrothers and godsisters, Dhananjaya Prabhu, in a moment of intimacy, Prabhupada said that when we get back to the spiritual world, we'll recognize each other. When I heard that, I almost fainted. It's such a solace, because what's most dear to us in this world? Krishna, our spiritual masters, and the Vaishnavas. So to hear that when we get back to the spiritual world, we'll all recognize each other, is something very wonderful. We have a very bright future. We should never lament for what we don't have. We should always be grateful for what we have, and what we have is beyond our comprehension, how much mercy that we actually have. And Prabhupada noted, he said, but you won't recognize me like this, he said, as an old man. He said, I'll be a little boy. Prabhupada said to Dhananjaya. These are moments of intimacy that, like Jesus said, my cup runneth over with love. So sometimes these things spill out from the heart of a pure devotee, and there's an impetus. So I'm very much hoping that I'll have Gopal Krishna Maharaj's association again. He was always very kind to me. I was always feeling very humble in his presence. He would try to encourage me by, acknowledging what service I did, but I felt like a little peon in front of a great giant. 20 temples, BBT. He was really the second devotee to go to Russia. Prabhupada went to Russia, and soon after there was a book fair in Moscow. And Gopal Krishna Maharaj, he went and became the first book distributor in the Soviet Union. So again, we could go on for many hours, but just a little drop like that, we can appreciate this wonderful devotee, and we know that he's safely in Srila Prabhupada's association. The service is eternal. Again, our loss is other devotees' gain. So it's a day of mixed emotions, but we will also celebrate. It's interesting, the different mixing of rasas here. We will celebrate because his life was successful. It's a success story. And all of us have to die. But this is a wonderful story of a devotee in whose footsteps we can follow by dint of his surrender to his Guru Maharaj. Full Guru Nishta. He was able to accomplish something that even the devatas are honoring now. So we miss him dearly, especially his disciples. My heart goes out to anyone here or anyone in the world who is his disciple. This is a very trying time for disciples. If I can offer any assistance to any of the glorious disciples of Maharaj, I will. So we'll cry one sad tear and we'll cry one happy tear. In medical science, they say that if the tear is cold, that's a happy tear, and if the tear is warm, when you're upset or if you're lamenting, the tear is warm. So we can be happy that Maharaj has achieved the destination, or we can be sad that we've lost him. So let's cry a happy tear, and let's cry a sad tear today. And remember Maharaj in the Kirtan. You can think of him. I don't have to explain anymore. You know his exploits. You know his mood of surrender. You know his love for Srila Prabhupada, his service above and beyond the call of duty. So we can dedicate this festival to him today. We can dedicate. Prabhupada gave a prayer. He said when he was on his deathbed, Prabhupada said we could pray, "My dear Lord Krishna, if you so desire, please cure Srila Prabhupada." But Krishna had other desires. He wanted his devotee to come home. So we can pray today, because Maharaj just left, that Krishna, you please take Gopal Krishna Maharaj into your arms and engage him in his eternal loving service to you in the spiritual world. Gopal Krishna Maharaj ki,
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki,
Jai.
Worldwide ISKCON ki,
Jai.
back home, back to Godhead ki.
Jai.
Take all the